Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. r/ask Reddit by Planet Reddit. What is one profession where you don't ever want to hear them genuinely say oops on the job? A tattoo artist. The one I worked for would say it all the time, just to mess with the client. 2 O's in Bob, right? You're goddamn right there is. So I did hear someone say oops while I was getting a needle aspiration biopsy for thyroid cancer, and they were looking to see where to go in with an ultrasound. The doctor takes a stab and the radiology tech goes, oops, nope, that's her jugular. And they just kind of laughed and shrugged and kept going. So apparently I was the only one who found that untoward. Well, I am glad I didn't read stories like this before I had my own FNA biopsy. Endocrinologist numbed my neck up really well and got samples really quickly. In my case it did turn out to be cancer, but I got rid of it. I hope the same for you if it was a positive biopsy. Got diagnosed in 2010. 3 surgeries and 2 radiations later I'm clear as far as I know. I'm happy to hear you're good too. I've had 4 FNAs and I'm resistant to lidocaine, so they all hurt like hell. The first one was the worst because they did a core 2, which felt like getting a hole punched through my throat. Yikes, mine seemed so easy in comparison. LOL. For such a small little organ though, the thyroid causes so much trouble for a lot of people. I didn't feel bad about kicking mine out, that is for sure. I have 2 personal experiences that fit this, but maybe weren't that bad. 1. I was getting a colonoscopy, and the anesthesiologist comes in to go over the process with me and drops his clipboard, making papers go flying everywhere. He drops down to pick them up and huffs under his breath like it's just one of those days. I was like, great, I am gonna die. 2. I had to get a wisdom tooth taken out. The dentist comes in wearing flip-flops, shorts, a Hawaiian shirt, and is limping. Plops down on his seat and goes, here we go. It totally looked like he woke up hungover as balls to come operate on my mouth. The best dental experience I've ever had was an old guy in a Hawaiian shirt who was acting kinda similarly. That's the only Akin dentist who has ever actually fully numbed my mouth before working on my teeth. I am extremely resistant to local anesthetics, unfortunately. If I'm gonna be yucked up while I do this, he's gonna be yucked up while I do this. I really don't want to listen to any screaming while I work my way through this hangover. A mime. Touche. Underrated response. It's literally the top response on here. I legit had a dentist say this one time while he was working on my teeth. I immediately tensed up and tried asking what happened, but my mouth was forced open. And as soon as he heard me say something he told me to try not to talk, and so I had no choice but to go back to just being still. For some reason once he was all done, I either forgot to ask what happened or I intentionally decided not to, but yay. That was incredibly frightening, even if it seems nothing major came of it. Honestly, they probably just dropped something in your mouth and didn't want you to swallow or aspirate it. It happens. Accurate. Dang it, I knew today was the wrong day to bring Francis, my pet spider, with me while I was working. Bungee jump operator. No idea what the actual job title is, but I'm sure you know what I mean. In my intro to engineering class in college, one team project everyone worked on was a bungee jump simulation, where we had to calculate the correct length of cord needed for the attached weight to drop from a height, get close to the floor, but not touch the floor. Based on the stretchiness of the cord or whatever, I changed majors, so I don't remember the details. Only one group didn't have their weight hit the floor. I knew at the end of that project that I would never be an engineer, a bungee jump operator, or a person who goes bungee jumping. Let me juice, everyone forgot to take momentum into their calculations. I don't even remember, it was so long ago, lol. It was most likely a combo of bad data, college freshman stupidity, unclear instructions from the professor, and no one knowing how to use Excel, which was what we were using for all our calculations. Oddly, I'm really good at Excel now, and I wonder if I could solve that problem if I ever came upon my notes for the class. I have a feeling it was unnecessarily overcomplicated. Edit. I met my husband in this class and just asked him. He continued on and is now an engineer, and he's pretty sure everyone forgot about momentum, and everyone got their data from static loads, which was wrong for estimating the calculations for a drop load. but we're both kinda hazy on the details because freshman year was, sadly, quite a while ago. Surgeon. You know what they say, surgery is just stabbing someone back to life. This is why you aren't a surgeon. Who says I'm not? This isn't as critical as some jobs, but when I was in school for computer IT in the late 90s, our teacher always emphasized that if we ever have to make a house call to fix a person's computer, never say oops. People freak out. That said, I never want to hear the guy in charge of hitting the nuclear launch button say oops. I have a friend who is a dentist and he always joked that he never said oops when he makes a mistake. He just says rinse. Whenever they accidentally make you bleed, they just say IT's because you don't floss enough. Before I got braces when I was a teenager, my bottom teeth were very close together, with some of them being pushed forward due to being too close. To remedy this, they took sandpaper and sawed between my teeth to file them down and create more space. As a result, I was bleeding everywhere because they rubbed sandpaper between my teeth. You're bleeding because you need to floss more is what they told me. Nuclear missile operator. Oddly enough, people have said oops a surprising amount and nothing's really happened. Countries, mostly US, have lost a terrifying amount of nuclear weapons. The US specifically is not good with nuclear weapons. One missile silo was reported as being wide open and the operators were asleep. They ordered a pizza and the pizza guy just found a nuclear weapon which he could have gotten a friend and launched. John Oliver's piece on it, YouTube link. The US is much more transparent than the USSR or even modern day Russia. The USSR and Russia have been known to and have lied many times about their WMDs. If a missile silo was left wide open in the USSR, you were certainly not allowed to report on it on the news. Likewise for China. Saying the US specifically is not good with nuclear weapons without qualifying that we don't have data from many other nuclear weapons states is misleading. Ascribing confidence in Russia like that is the first sign they've never been in or have dealt with Russia. IT. Oops in IT can mean anything from oops, accidentally reset the wrong password, to oops, accidentally pushed a patch requiring a reboot and now every server is rebooting. Source. IT person. Or in the case of Tom Scott, accidentally making thousands of irreversible changes to a database. ONOSECOND. The nanosecond is a second after you make a terrible mistake. The second when you realize what you just did, and that there's nothing you can do about it. Tom Scott, 2020. Laser eye removal person. Edit. Oops. Bro. After I got my eyes removed with lasers, I could finally shoot sharks out of my eyes. Yes, I hate when someone is removing my eyes with lasers and they mess up. What? Before it was automated, the guy operating railway junctions remotely. Too much Thomas and Friends has taught me that the signalman will usually mess up once. Barber. Well, hair grows back, ears don't. Happened to me when I was like 13. Luckily it was just a sliver, and luckily it was my good ear and not the pointy elf ear that could have used a little off the top. Yep, that's the reason my mom stopped cutting my hair when I was a kid. The screams and blood were pretty traumatizing for her, too. Chef when they're chopping things with a knife, it was bad. A good professional chef knife can be sharp as hell. I have a good one, but I'm afraid to use it. Use it, it will change cooking for you. You can just end up with more protein in your dinner. A pilot. Attention passengers. Whoops. Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines. Looks like I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue. Presidential candidate. Apparently, Perry. And I will tell you, it is 3 agencies of government when I get there that are gone. Commerce, education, and what's the third one there? Let's see. Laughter. Paul. You need 5. Perry. Oh. 5. Okay. So commerce, education, and no WN. EPA. Perry. EPA. There you go. Laughter. Applause. Harwood. Seriously, is the EPA the one you were talking about? Perry. No, sir. No, sir. We were talking about the agencies of government. The EPA needs to be rebuilt. There's no doubt about that. Harwood. But you can't. But you can't name the third one? Perry. The third agency of government I would do away with. Education. The. No WN. Commerce. Perry. Commerce and. Let's see. I can't. The third one. I can't. Sorry. Oops. In case you're wondering. It really is that uncomfortable to watch. On the other hand, he became Trump's energy secretary. Ironic really, considering the third agency that he wanted to get rid of was energy, the one agency he couldn't remember. It's so crazy that we went from stuff like this, the Howard Dean scream, or Gary Johnson's Aleppo mishap ruining campaigns, to Trump. Nuclear engineer when they are working in the control room of a nuclear reactor. It's not 3 Ronchian, it's 15,000. Airplane pilot, surgeon, prostitute. One of those is unique. Haven't read that yet on these questions. What scenario would a prostitute say, oops, I don't need sleep, I need answers? Oops, see you in 9 months. Join our community Discord, link in description. Bomb Squad. There's a well-known story about that. A guy asked a bomb squad guy how stressful his job was. He responded with, it really ain't stressful at all. You see, I'm either right, or it's very suddenly no longer my problem. They don't usually have time to vocalize it. In fairness, when we say oops, it's usually a good thing, or someone is now an amputee. I heard my dentist say oops, I was having a tooth removed, and before he even started, the dumbass injected his own finger with the anesthetic. Still went ahead with the tooth extraction, lol mayo. Look up Tim Conway dentist. The skit was inspired by an incident like yours. My dad was cutting my hair to about an inch long when I was about 8 years old. He was trimming the front of my hair and I hear him say oops. Big, square ball chunk that connected to my forehead, lol. A medical specialist. A good friend had to have a spinal tap for intracranial hypertension. She had no one to go with her and she was very scared. So I went with her so she wouldn't be alone. As the neurology registrar put the needle in, he says oh shit under his breath, but loud enough that we both heard. My friend suddenly says, is it supposed to feel like it's in my lung? The registrar looked at his supervisor with a look of sheer panic. Luckily my friend was lying face down so she couldn't see what was happening. The supervising neurologist took over, pulled the needle out and put it in correctly, at which point my friend let out an awful cry and the procedure was done within a couple minutes. I told her what happened the next day, figured no point scaring her while she needed to recover. Well, in this case you've had a combination lung and spinal tap, so while not strictly normal, it is normal for this particular procedure. Dentist. Root canal on the wrong tooth. A mohel. For all you Gentiles out there, a mohel is the person who performs the bris, traditional Jewish circumcision. Mohel. Zero tolerance for mistakes, yo. I hear if they miss they get the sack. You know what you call a budget circumcision? A rip-off. So no one is gonna say it. Fine, okay. Police officer. LOL, like they say oops. They just leave the report mostly blank and deflect and deny until the press moves on. A doctor. I mean, if his pen falls down and I hear oops, I guess it's okay. What if it falls on your organs? A pen. On my testicle. Crap. Roller coaster technician. Always take a few rusty bolts with you to the theme park. On the initial climb, pull one out and tell the person next to you it just fell out their seat. That's the oldest trick in the book, but it's brilliant because no one expects it, especially when you drop the bolt onto the track by accident while upside down and derail the carriage. Wait, what? A magician. More specifically when they have finished performing that one trick where it looks like they are cutting a body in half. LASIK. Accidentally cutting out my eye then cutting the other one to make it look even. Air traffic controller. Doctor doing your prostate exam. Skyscraper window washer. Pilot. Wax specialist. Neurosurgeon or ophthalmic surgeon. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.